Okay, so I think we are good. Okay, so since you can see my screen, so today is basically Java fundamental. What is Java and why we will be using Java? And also, since this is a very new programming language and new language basically. For example, English is a language, French is a language, Bengali is a language. That Java is one of the programming languages that your computer understand, that your actually operating system understand. So as part of the starting point, first thing, that what is Java? You can see that there's a definition, like Java is a high-level programming language. And there are some basic information. Nobody will ask you in the future during the interview who developed Java like 30 years ago or 40 years ago, or who is the name. This is like historical point of view, just for knowledge. You can Google it anytime, the person's name or anything, but this is nothing related to your skill set that you need for QS point of view. From QS point of view, you need to know that why Java is important and what are some features of Java and how you can use Java when you actually write test cases, right? We said from manual testing, you write test cases in plain English, right? For example, if you go there, we have some sample test cases here, right? We practiced this. You can see that detailed steps, expected result. This is plain English. So now, for automation point of view, you will be actually writing exactly same thing, but we'll be using some kind of programming language, right? There are so many programming languages in the market, like C#, Python, Java, JavaScript, Ruby, like, but Java is like 70 to 80% of the company actually use Java, right? So that's why this is more popular. And if you think about job market, so learning Java will be important because you can cover 80% job market by learning Java. At the same time, if you, for example, you are learning Ruby, maybe 2% company use Ruby, maybe 15% company use Python. So something like that. So distribution is a little bit different, right? So Java has bigger market cap compared to rest of the other programming languages. But from QA point of view, is Java is the most important because most of the tools, actually, most of the company use the automation tools. Java is one of the biggest part of these tools. Means most of the tools supports Java, and most of the automation team actually use Java in current market, actually. And at the same time, if you learn Java, for example, after 5 years, you want to learn other languages, it will be much easier because the concept from Java will be actually kind of repeating, very similar pattern, very similar pattern. So it's like, for example, you are driving sedan regular car, right? Like after 5 years, you thinking that you will be driving like 18-wheeler big truck, right? You need specific some other skills, but basic skills already there, right? Um, so similar to that, so if you just learn Java, you will have already like basic skills. Some difference will be there for other languages, but those are like minor changes. If you have basics on one programming language, so that means you will be actually getting other languages very quickly if necessary. If, for example, like after 4 years or 5 years, you think that, okay, you want to go to some company, they use maybe Python, right? So you can actually learn Python quickly because Python is much easier than Java. So Java is little bit, what is that? The difficulty level. So So definitely Java will have more coverage compared to complexity. If you think, so compared to Python or some other programming languages, Java will be little more complex. That means if you learn Java, other programming language will be easier for you. So now what you will be doing, as I said, when you write test cases, instead of plain English, for automation, you will be using some kind of programming languages, right? And this is part of your automation testing. And eventually we'll be doing, we'll be actually practicing automation using Selenium. Selenium is one of the common tools. This is open and free. Anybody can use in their laptop. That's Selenium with Java, Selenium WebDriver with Java, and also there will be a lot of other related framework with Selenium that you will be learning in the future classes. So from the last class, anybody did not download or install Java JDK in your system, in your laptop?
Oh, I didn't do it.
So that will be required for practice point of view.
Okay.
Did you try? Actually, this is like, you need maybe 10 minutes if you just follow some YouTube videos. I shared 2 sample video.
You did? Oh.
I already shared 2 sample videos. If you check WhatsApp channel, maybe you have to go a couple of days back. After, I think it was on Monday, because Sunday was our last class, right? I think
Yes,
Monday
yes,
morning.
yes. I see it now.
So it is like,
I'll try to download right now.
Yeah, so you have to be little bit, do it little slowly. Don't to be rushed.
Okay.
So there is 2 process, right? So you always have to do JDK first and then IntelliJ. Don't do other direction, so it will not work.
Okay.
So IntelliJ will only work if you have JDK. But if you try and you don't get it, or if you have any trouble following the steps, you can always text me, then we can actually sit sometimes, share the screen and check. But it should be, if you follow the step-by-step process from YouTube, it should be okay. Anybody else actually did not upload or download or install JDK?
I did, and I did it successfully.
Okay. Yeah. So if you didn't do this is not like too late. I'm saying for Java practice and in the future automation practice, you will need one of these IDE like IntelliJ, like in United States especially, or most of the country actually, currently they are using mostly 2 common IDE, Eclipse and IntelliJ. Eclipse is little older than IntelliJ, but like last few years, IntelliJ is getting more and more popular. But Eclipse was in the market before IntelliJ. So you can still see that in the market, if you think about company to company, is like 60% company use Eclipse, 40% company use IntelliJ, or maybe sometimes 50-50. But it is like driving Toyota and driving Honda. So if you know how to drive Toyota Corolla, right, you definitely will be able to drive Honda Civic. It's just 2 different company. Even in my screen, you see that this is Eclipse and this is IntelliJ. It's similar stuff, exactly similar stuff. If you compare, you will be comparing like 97 to 98% exact same in both. Like 2-3% will be a little bit different. About each of them have their little bit different functionalities or the way to work. But otherwise, if you write some code in IntelliJ, you will be able to write exactly same thing on Eclipse. It's also follows all the rules similarly. So now going back to Java again. Okay, so Java is, as I said, is a high-level programming language, and they have their own style of like way to write. Actually, Java is very much. It seems like English, for example. It seems like English, right? Everything will be written in English, but at the same time, they have their own style. You see that sometimes you will see curly brackets, sometimes you will see open bracket, and there is a set of rules to write. And end of the line, you will see there is a like semicolon. You see that these are some rules of these programming languages. For example, if you do Python, right? Maybe Python does not need this semicolon, but Java needs semicolon. Java is very much case sensitive also. You will see in the future, like I will go more details. For example, you see that this line, right? This is a predefined line, right? So now if you, case sensitive means if this is written in lowercase letter, it cannot be written in uppercase. So that means if you just change this M lowercase to uppercase, you will see there is a red error. And this error, you see that this red, anything you change, right? That means you are not following their style. You will see some kind of error or some kind of light bulb that is saying, okay, you see that this is required. Some kind of portion is missing here. So you have to learn this style actually. So now, if you see, if I'm running this, I'll go to this. I cannot see anything here, right? You know why I cannot see anything here? Because there is a M missing here. So if I just give a M, now I run this, you see that there is the option run. So if this M is missing, I'm not going to see even this run option. So if I run this, I will see this line. But this is just like some advanced thing that I'm showing you, that how this is case sensitive and how it will be working. So now if for some reason it is working perfectly 100% accurately now, but if I just remove this semicolon and run this, it will give you error. Right now you see that exit code is 0. Exit code 0 means ran successfully. If you see exit code 1, that means it did not run successfully. It ran with error. Now if I run this, see that it is saying line number 6. You see that line number 6? A semicolon is expected. You see that? Semicolon expected. So this is the reason you are using this type of IDE like IntelliJ and Eclipse. They will be helping you actually. You can write this code in command line, like here or CMD or anything, right? But if you use command line, nobody will give you this type of error. And you don't know what is line number 6 or line number 20 or line number 100, right? But IntelliJ, this is, they use like some kind of intelligence, right, internally, and they give you warning sign. Okay, you probably missed this, please check before you run. Or once you run, they will be saying that, okay, you missed semicolon in line number 6. That's why this test or this code failed, right? It failed. You see that build failed. So now if you just follow their instruction and just add this semicolon and run it, it will be running perfectly. See that process finish with JDK setup completed successfully. So this is some of the stuff that you will be seeing today. So now going back actually to the note. So why Java will be important, or why Java will be useful when you write test cases, right? So there are some features inside the Java that is important. So Java is, there is one of the feature is platform independent. You see that platform independent? So platform independent means if you actually use Mac operating system or Windows operating system, you can still use Java. All you have to do, your local system, right? Whatever machine you are using, Mac or Windows, you have to just download JDK. Remember, I said download JDK first in your system. That means this JDK will actually help you. Basically, will not help you, actually, will help the code, Java code, to process in your system. So you see that like you are writing stuff here, right? And you can see it is running successfully. It is running successfully because you have JDK. And JDK has JVM internally, Java Virtual Machine. And Java Virtual Machine basically converting this English line, right, to different file name like .java, and .java will be converted to Java compiler, and then .class, right? Those are internal process that will be converted through JDK. That's why you always first download or install JDK first in your system, and then use any IDE for writing Java code. So this actually feature will be called platform independent. Means through virtual machine, JVM, Java Virtual Machine, you can use the same code in any operating system, any machine, any laptop, browser, right? So it will be kind of helping you actually to basically you can copy your code from one machine to another machine and run it. So you don't have to do anything other than you have Java JDK. So this is platform independent. So it is not depending on any platform. So that doesn't mean that, okay, you wrote this code in MacBook, now you cannot use this in Windows. Not like this. So seems as long as you have Java JDK virtual machine, it will be working exactly same way that it is working in Mac, it is working in exactly same way in Windows also. Object-oriented programming. So Java will be following object-oriented programming. That means anything you see on the screen, for example, if I open another, for example, this is a website, right? This is W3 School. This is, for example, Google. So if you see Google, anything you see on the screen, like about, store, there's a box, right? There's a search button, there's a picture, there's a link, something like that. Everything is kind of object. And this will be called web element. You will see when you do automation practice in maybe after maybe a few weeks, you will see that each of these button or search button or anything will be called as web element. And these web elements are kind of part of your object. And you will be basically creating Java classes, right? From using Java concept, and use those objects to run the test cases. And how it will be done, you will actually see a little later. So that's why it is saying object-oriented programming. And at the same time, there is another thing is object-oriented programming will be that if you use one object, right? For example, you are using one object for this Google logo. There is a logo, right? Google. If you use one object for this, you can use this one logo again and again. You don't have to create every time you use those. You can just call them. For example, you used logo 1 equal to Google. So now you can use this logo 1 every time you need it. So this also will be helpful because if you think about test cases, for example. So if I if I go to test cases, for example, you see that login button here. Everybody can see my screen?
Yes.
So this login button maybe this one login button, or if I go to Gmail, right, and sign in, go to sign in. You see that maybe this next button or login button. This button will be maybe this one, right? So now if you write test cases, this is one test case. Now you are writing 10 test cases and you have to go to this login screen again and again. Every time you test each test cases, you have to go to this screen. So that means whatever object you created for this login button, right? You can use same object, same login button reference for all 10 test cases. So what does that mean? That means it is saving you time, right? It is saving you time means all test cases, you need only one reference of this login button, and you are just using this. So these are some of the features you will be seeing in the future, actually, that Java will be using. So, okay, going back to, again, same thing. So this is object-oriented. Support web-based application. Basically, all the web-based application will be supported by Java. These are some features that why programmers like Java, why Java is important, right? Robust, secured. This you will see in the example later. Robust means it will be some kind of connectivity with object-oriented programming also. Means you can use same code again and again, and it will be saving you time also. If you follow the features properly, it will make your life easier. For example, you don't have to write 100 line of code. Instead of 100 line, you can create some kind of object-oriented programming concept that will be only like 10 line. You don't have to write 90 another line if you just follow these features properly, like object-oriented programming with robust features. Basically, you will see those in next few classes. Secure, right? So you will also see that how Java programming language will be using their concept to avoid hacking or just what is that, access from outside people without credentials, right? These security features, you will be also seeing that. Multi-threaded. So basically, you can use multiple options all the time. So multi-threaded, you will see multi-threaded will be coming with a lot of other features, object-oriented programming features. So you have to see this in like real examples, then you will understand actually. But these are some example of features that programmers like for Java. And as I said, how it works, let me make it a little bigger. You see that what does platform independence mean? I explained you a little bit more. So if you use C or C++, another programming language, not Java. So if you have written this programming language in Windows laptop, it will not work in Mac laptop. If you move this code to Mac, it will not work. Remember I said Java has one of these things, Java virtual machine, right? That comes with your JDK. So so Java will be supporting each operating system same way if you have Java virtual machine. So if you have JDK in your laptop, so it doesn't matter that you wrote code in Mac, you running code in Mac, or you are running code in Windows. So that's why it is saying platform independent. So the main reason will be Java virtual machine for Windows, Java virtual machine for Linux, Mac, or whatever you are using, right? But it is coming with JDK, right? You are downloading JDK. This is part of your JDK. Same thing, this is a conversion system, right? So when you write a code in Java, like IntelliJ, it will be compiling with Java compiler. So Java has, for example, JDK, right? JDK actually has a Java compiler. So you downloading actually Java compiler in your system. So Java compiler will be converted this code to bytecode. So bytecode will be basically machine understandable code, like 1 0 1 0 1 0. So you'll see something like mathematical term. So if you see bytecode, probably nobody will understand. Like if you show me some code like bytecode, right? For example, this line has a bytecode. Something will be maybe 0 0 0 1 1 1. I'm not going to understand, right? But computer understand. So it will be done by compiler, right? Bytecode. And bytecode will be also readable through JVM. Remember I said through JDK, you actually downloaded JVM, Java Virtual Machine. So Java Virtual Machine will be actually now connected with your Windows, Mac, or Linux, whatever operating system you have, and that will be run accordingly with your system. So that's why it is kind of like high level reason why Java is platform independent. Some features, as I said, I already kind of explained a little bit more. You see that multi-threaded. So you will see those in the example when I will show you a little bit later. So history of Java. History of Java, you probably don't need this for interview point of view, but you can actually read those just to gain the knowledge, right? So one thing important here. So 2014, basically Java JDK 8, right? This is version, different type of version, right? So your laptop or IntelliJ or Eclipse, whatever you use, you have to use JDK version 8 or higher. If you go back to 8, it probably will not be working. Nobody use 7 and below. Every company use 8 or higher. So a lot of functionalities doesn't work with 7 and below. So this is important that anytime you use Java, you have to use 8 or higher version. So what you need to practice Java, you need few things, right? First, you have to download JDK. That was the task from last week. I said download JDK in your laptop and download one of the IDE. There is in Eclipse, NetBeans, and there is another one is IntelliJ that that screenshot does not have. This is the IntelliJ. So one of them will be okay. So a lot of college university courses, they use NetBeans. It's exactly same thing. Maybe, for example, NetBeans is Hyundai. Eclipse is Toyota. IntelliJ is Honda. So it doesn't matter actually, right? So all of them will be exactly same. If you know one, if you know Eclipse, you know how to write code on NetBeans. If you know Eclipse, you know how to write code on IntelliJ. So once it is done, this is a short description of JDK, Java virtual machine, environment variable, and everything together. There is some kind of file that you need to download in your system, right? If you go to IntelliJ, for example, you see that libraries, basically you are downloading, it's a group of libraries in your system, in your laptop. You see that all of these libraries, right? Those libraries are required to run your code in your local machine. So if you don't have those libraries, basically you cannot run those code in your system. So those are kind of dependencies. So you see that I downloaded in my laptop Java version 17. So right now the latest version is 19. If you go to if I for example search download JDK, if I just write download JDK, you will see there are two versions, current version, right? 19 or 17. So any of these will be working fine. Any of these working fine. You see that you can actually go back. For example, you want like Java version 11. So you can go here and check the previous versions. Previous versions, like see that previous versions. So all the previous versions are here. You can download 9, 11, 12, whatever you want. But I would suggest you don't have to go to previous version, just download maybe 19 or 17. Maybe after 2 months or 3 months, you will see maybe version 20. So every couple of months, they upgrade, they change a little bit, and they just change the version number. So important thing is from here, right? Don't download anything Java 7, 6, 5, this type of thing. Download only above 7, means 8 or higher. Even 8 nowadays, a lot of company don't use. A lot of company use 11 and higher actually. Like my company use 11. So every couple of years, a company actually change their version. They don't change every month. Like for example, because they have to change multiple places, multiple configuration, right? So if tomorrow there is a version comes 20, the company will not just go and jump in and change that version 20. They will wait. They will wait a year or two, and then they will change the version. So I will suggest just download version 7, it's okay. Or download version 19. Any version will be working above 8 or higher. As I said, there are some version history that you probably don't need for interview point of view. Now, once you have Java IntelliJ ready, right? So I'm just closing. So everybody can see my screen, right? How you will be creating a project. Remember,
Yes.
we had, okay. So, okay. Okay. So there is a folder structure. Any IDE you use, right? There is a folder structure. Anything, test cases is a folder structure also, right? So you have a big project, like for example, sandbox 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, I gave sandbox 1, 2, 3, 4. This is maybe project. Now, what will be the package? Package will be login, feature one. Login is one package. Forget password will be another package. Create account will be another package. You see that every project will be kind of folder structure. If you think anytime you create something, it is part of another parent, right? So maybe your package is under parent project. And when you think about package is your child here, right? So there is your test cases will be grandchild, right? For if you write a test case to login, to check login functionality, or a scenario login functionality, that means these test cases is actually part of this project or part of this package, right? So same thing will be manual and automation same. So if you create a project, if you go to IntelliJ, right? You see that IntelliJ, right? There is a file. If you go to, so the first you have to download this Java JDK, and then after JDK, you have to download IntelliJ or Eclipse. So we'll be using mostly IntelliJ, but you can use Eclipse also if you like Eclipse. Using IntelliJ is a little bit easier than Eclipse because they are much faster, and also their functionality is a little bit straightforward sometimes. But 50% company use IntelliJ, 50% company use Eclipse. There is nothing that I can say, okay, this is not good or this is bad or something like that. Both actually works similar way. So if you see this file, right? This file, if you click on this file, there are several options. Project, existing project, right? When you go to work, for example, you are hired in a company as an automation tester. So now they have their library, they have their project library, version control library is like this. This will be called Git, right? So they will be giving you a link to go to this project. So that means if you already have a project, existing project, people are working, tester working, and now you are new, then you will be basically going to this, you see that existing, this option. But now you are going to some small company. You are the only QA. So there is a small project came and you have to write test cases from the scratch. You have to write all the test cases, right? So that means you don't have anything new, anything existing. So you have to create a new project. So this way you go to create project, right? You see that project option? Click project option. You can give sandbox. You can give sandbox project. I can just write sandbox project. Or you can give sandbox 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter what you give. You can give your name also, but always try to follow some relative name, right? Something that you can, if you see some name, you will understand, okay, this name is representing this project, or this name is representing these test cases, something like that. Something not like test 1, 2, 3, or you name 1, 2, 3, something. So always refer your project related naming convention. And one thing is some of the standard actually that when you write a project, right? Usually start with uppercase. You can start with lowercase also, doesn't matter. But important thing, anytime you use more than one word, you should use the format called camel casing. The camel casing means any new word start with uppercase. So if I say sandbox project demo, you see that D is uppercase. That means if somebody read your code, they can actually easily read, okay, there are 3 different words. Sandbox is 1 word, project is 1 word, demo is 1 word. So if you don't give this uppercase, so nobody knows that what you are writing, like if there is 1 word or 3 word or 5 word, I don't know actually. So that's why this is called camel casing. Means any new word will start with uppercase. And you'll see that location, I gave my location is document here. You see that document is my default location at this moment. You can always change the location. My location is document for this project, or anything I write will be saved in document. And you see that Java, you will be selecting the language Java. There are a lot of languages, right? You don't need to know what is Kotlin, what is Groovy, what is HTML at this moment, right? You don't need this. All you have to worry about, you are practicing Java. And this is IntelliJ at this moment. In the future, we will be using this option, and not at this next 4 weeks. This will be later. After you learn all the Java, you will be actually selecting Maven instead of IntelliJ or Gradle or anything. And you have to know what is Maven and how Maven works also. So that means you don't have to worry about Maven now. Just select IntelliJ. And remember, I said, if you downloaded JDK 8, you will see JDK 8. If you download JDK 11, you will see JDK 11 here. If you downloaded 19, you will see 19 here. So in my system, I downloaded 17, right? So it is here. If this thing is blank, your project will not work. You need JDK. If you don't have JDK, you don't have JRE, you don't have Java virtual machine in your system, right? So that means anything you are writing in plain English, your laptop will not understand anything. They will give you error and nothing will be running successfully. You can uncheck this with sample code or not, it's up to you. Now, this is your creation of project. Now, create. So right now I am creating the project folder. Project folder means your parent folder, right? All the test cases, test scenarios, other packages will be under your parent project. So I want to open my project as a new window. Not this window. This window, I have something that I created last night, for example. So you see that this is your folder structure. Sandbox project. So now, every project folder has a couple of things. Like, for example, okay. So this is your project. Sandbox project demo. You just created that. And this is the external library you will always have. From your JDK version 11, 12, 15, 19, 18, whatever you have, 17. I have 17, right? You will see my version number here and all the libraries under this version. That's you are downloading through JDK. That I said I sent some videos, sample videos. So this is the first part. Without JDK, your IntelliJ will not work. So you always have to take care of the JDK download first and then download IntelliJ. And also another important thing, when you download IntelliJ, right? You have to make sure that, okay. Actually, I can go here. When you download IntelliJ, always download IntelliJ Community Edition. This is the free version. There are two versions, Ultimate Edition that you have to pay monthly or yearly. You don't need this. This is like some big companies, maybe they will be paying this and using those. For regular people, like I'm practicing myself, you are practicing yourself, for your personal practice, this is the free version for everybody. IntelliJ IDEA Community Edition. And I sent the link video, and I said in the message that, okay, use IntelliJ IDEA Community Edition only. Because otherwise they will ask you, if you choose another one, they will ask you credit card, this thing. You don't need this actually. You just need like simple free version that you can use freely without any problem. So this is project and how to create a project. Anybody actually has any question about project, how to create the project? I already explained a little bit of about this, right? Camel casing. Remember I said each new word will be camel casing. Usually start with uppercase letter, right? If you create any package. So now I said there are several features, right? I'm going to note a little later. First, show you the project. So under the project, right, you will see few things. You will see two subfolder, .idea and source. So anything you do in the future as a QA rest of your life, you don't have to worry about anything under this. You have to worry about just source. Anything you write will be inside source folder. So sandbox project is your parent, source is your child here, right? Child folder or subfolder. So you have to write your test cases inside the source. So right now there is a sample test case is written here. So I can delete this. I don't have to actually so I can actually delete this so that I can create and show you. So right click, and then you see that delete. Save delete is okay. So now under the source, I don't have any other test cases or sample test case or sample folder, anything. So right now you have only two subfolder at this moment. And I said this external library is important because you can see if you have JDK library in your system or not. If you don't, if this folder is empty, that means your code probably will not run because you don't have JDK. As I said, you don't have to worry about this folder, what is going on here. This is coming directly from your IntelliJ IDEA. You probably will not even understand what is inside this, right? So, and you don't actually need this. This is a pre-built setup with this IntelliJ. So now all you have to worry about source, as I said. So in the source, you can now create multiple subfolder as package. If I go new, you see that package. So I can say package 1, anything you can give, or I can say sandbox login is my package, for example. Sandbox login. So now usually package start with lowercase letter. This is the standard. There is nothing that, okay, if you don't use lowercase, nobody will say anything actually. This is like a standard, usually international programming association or developers they use. This is the standard they usually use. Some of them just standard. There is nothing like absolute rules. So sandbox login is your one of the package. You can have more package. You can have 100 package. I can have another package. This class, right? You will see later that this is for writing test cases. But right now I'm creating package. Package means subfolder under your source. So I can say sandbox create account. This can be one, right? And now I can write one more package, right? For my sprint one. For example, I'm creating a new project for my sprint one. Sandbox. Forget password, for example. So this is maybe you have 3 packages. So now you will be writing test cases inside the package. So what you did actually in the, if you see sample, right? So if I say you are going to some URL, sandbox.com, and click on login screen and then give your user ID and then give your password and then click on login. Or you can go to same page and as a new user, create a new account. Or if you forget your password, click on forget password and then provide the information to recover your password or set up or reset your password. So you see that all the functionalities, it can be same thing here also. So all the login test cases, remember these are actually kind of your functional, related to functional requirement also, right? So you have 3 requirement. Now you are just creating 3 different packages for 3 requirement. So if you go to login, for example, right? So now you can write test cases, and test cases will be actually kind of under class. So I'm going now back to the notes. So under the package, there will be classes. This is also folder. This is another folder, right? Folder structure. So this is kind of your project is grandparent, right? Package is parent and class is kind of grandchild from here or child from package, right? You see that the folder structure. So there is something that naming convention, class name, right? Usually start with uppercase letter. You see that class will be start with uppercase letter. This is just naming convention, standard, everybody follows. So now I said, I want to write a test case to log in as an existing user. So I will right click. You see that class, you will be just giving that login. Login valid credentials. You see that basically login with valid credentials. Valid credential means valid password, valid user ID, right? You see that all of them valid. And enter. So you see that right here, a brand new page opens and this is a class, and we'll go to class more in the future. So this is a format, right? You see that this class coming from sandbox. So anytime you use a class, it will always tell you that if this class has a package, means this package sandbox login is kind of parent from this, right? So this is just like information purpose here. The folder structure, it is showing that this test class is part of this sandbox login. So in Java, there is a command, or there is a anything you want to actually run in Java, you have to write this. This is kind of a formula. Public static void main. And these are some, this thing is that like at this moment, you have to just know that this is kind of key to run the Java code. Without this, you cannot run the Java code. For example, if I say that, okay, and there is, excuse me, there is another formula you have to, for now actually, since it is the day one, you have to actually kind of remember, or you have to memorize for now these two. One is this one, public static void main, and second one is if you want to display anything on your screen. For example, if I want to write today is day one of Java fundamental. So there is a formula called system. And you see that this thing, this is the actually reason you are using IDE. If you use IDE, Eclipse or IntelliJ, whatever, they will always give you some idea what you want to write. If you forget something, you probably will remember there, right? System dot. You see that I supposed to write out. It already saying that write out. Dot. You see that I want to write println. So I want to display something, right? You see that like you already have this formula ready. So now inside this, you will write whatever you want to display. So this is the formula you have to write to display something to run. And now if I just want to display, okay, anything you want to write to display like some line or anything, it will be inside the double quotation. You see that double quotation, and inside the double quotation, I can say today is our day one Java fundamental. So this is, for example, one of the line I want to see here using Java code. If you see YouTube video, right, they will be writing maybe hello world, something that they want to show you that, okay, your Java code is working. Means you can practice Java on your system, right? So hello world is one of the common one that people usually start with in YouTube videos. So now you see that this is a Java code at this moment. This is a functional Java code. I don't see any error at this moment, right? If I just remove this semicolon, it will show you error. So semicolon is a mandatory field for any Java statement. Anything you write in Java statement, inside this parentheses, inside the main method or outside the main method, you have to give a semicolon. It will not actually complete if you don't give a semicolon. The line will not complete. The statement will not complete. So now if I just right click, you see that run login valid credential. If I run this now, I supposed to see this line written. You see that today is our day one Java fundamentals. Exit code 0 means ran successfully, right? So for any reason, if I just remove this public static void main, that main key, right now, if you right click, you see this run button, right? But if I remove this line, you will not see any run button, because this public static void main is the mandatory field, mandatory statement, or this is kind of key here, right? To run any Java code. So for example, I am not even removing this. I'm just removing just M from here. And if I right click, I'm not gonna see anything. You see that no test options. If I give M and now right click, it will be back. You see that run? So this is a mandatory starting point. This is a starting point to run any Java code. Without this, your code will not run. This is like a start button. Public static void main is kind of start button for Java. So far, you saw how to create a project, how to create some packages as a subfolder, and how to write some class as a test case. So this can be a test case. So if I say just, okay, I'm just removing this login valid credential. I'm just saying that test case 1. Test case 1. Test case 01, for example. You see that this is a mismatch now, because you're saying that, okay, in your folder structure, it is saying login valid credential, but in the code, you just change it to test case 1. So what do you have to do? You have to just update this. You see that I move my cursor here. You see that rename file. Click there. If you click that, it will be changed also. Then your error will be gone also. You see that? Test case 1. So you can have test case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 100. It's same thing, right? So anything you are writing here, right? For example, where is that? This thing, right? It can be your test case steps inside. These steps will go inside this main method. So I can just copy and paste. Okay, so I'm saying my test case will be something like go to URL. I'm just giving some example. Sandbox QA.com. Now I can write sandbox home screen opens. I can write now a login tab should be present on home screen. Now I can say user clicks on home on login tab. You see that now there is you can have more stuff, right? User clicks on login tab. Login screen will open, right? So now user gives valid, user gives a valid user ID. Same thing, user gives a user gives a valid password, right? Now, user clicks on login button, and then you can say user should be login successfully. So you see that this is kind of sample test cases. So in real life, right, if you go to URL, you will be using Selenium automation. All of this you will be doing using Java with Selenium. So at this moment, we are not going to Selenium because we are actually practicing Java at this moment. So what you are doing, each of these action you are doing as part of automation. Before you did manual testing, right? Manual testing you went to some URL, go to that URL, click on this tab, then give actually password, user ID, then login button, click on login button, and then check if you actually access successfully or not. But in automation, you will be writing same thing with programming language, and all you have to do, just right click and start the test. And then Selenium will run this test case for you. Basically, you are not running anything. Selenium will run for you, right? Selenium WebDriver with programming language Java will run this. So if I run this, for example, right? This is like a sample, right? So it is displaying all the steps correctly, right? So first it go to URL, then it is home screen opens, validate that login tab displays. So here, what is actually expected and what is not expected? So each of these steps, you will be actually doing in Selenium some kind of validation. Okay, if you go to this URL, home screen opens. Now, your responsibility is to check if this home screen is actually sandbox home screen, right? There should be written sandbox or some logo, something, right? So that part will be part of your code. Before that, what you did, you are using your eye, right? You are using your eye. Maybe you're taking screenshots, right? But here you have to give some coding that will be representing your eye, basically. That means it will be showing that, okay, if you see sandbox logo, that means this is the correct home screen, something like that. So if you, same thing also here, a login tab should be present. So that means you have to say that, okay, please check the screen and make sure there is a login tab present. If there is no login tab present, fail the test case. You see that? So this type of information, that anything you are writing in plain English, you are basically writing in Java. So now, so far, any question that you did not understand so far? Hello?
Yes, we are here. For me, because it's really completely new, and
Yes.
I kind of understand. This is like the black box when the developers they input the conditions to make the functionality from a specific button, kind of like
This will not be actually black box. That will be actually white box.
a white box.
So in the white box testing, right? They
Yeah.
actually use the coding to check unit level. But if you think about this, the manual process, the verification process, that will be actually black box testing. Because you are giving your password. Do you need to worry about how password is working internally? You don't have to worry about this. All you have to worry about the functionality. So the functionality means if you click on login, your expectation will be you supposed to log in successfully. You don't have to worry about that how many lines of code developers wrote to go to login page and internally, right? So this, you don't have to worry about anything about coding when you check the functionality. So in the black box testing, you are checking mostly behavior and functionality. You are not actually checking how the code was written, what is the internal coding structure, what type of framework developers actually followed. We don't check as a QA, we don't check those things, right? So that is actually black box testing. If you just check the functionality and behavior,
Okay.
that is black box testing.
Okay.
But this is just the beginning of Java. So now that I'm just showing you that how actually this thing will be working, right? So now there are a lot of rules in the Java code that you have to understand. So now, if you write something, so you wrote a test case and you said, okay, now you, okay, you said, you want to put a note. I said note for anybody is reviewing this, right? Anybody is reviewing this, you said this is a positive test case. Why this is red actually? Can somebody tell me why this is red? This line. So that means this is a plain English. JDK is not understanding plain English here. You did not follow any Java here. This is not Java format. Java will understand only Java format. So Java format says, if you want to write a note or comment, or you want to give anything informational, please write as a comment like 2/. You see that? If you give 2/ as a comment, then Java said, this is good. I can understand as a plain English, as a note. This will not be part of your code. This is just information purpose. You see that? Now, if you say, okay, I will give a requirement as a comment. So you have like 5 lines as a requirement as a comment here. So now this is 2 options. Either you can write every line 2/, or if you think that, okay, I don't want to, if you have like 10 lines, should you give every line new, like for 10 line, all you have to do at the beginning, you have to give 1/ and 1*. And same thing at the end. You see that? Opposite direction. 1/, 1*, 1*, 1/. This is the comment style for multiple line together. If you want to just comment 1 line, that could be just 2/. So there are 2 types of comment that you will be using. Comment means you want to give some notes. For example, you are writing a test case and your test cases will be reviewed by another coworker or another developer. So you want to give them some notes. Okay, this test case is this, or you want to give some test data as a comment. So you understood about the purpose of the comment?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Java will understand their own style of commenting. If you just write simple plain English, they will not understand. So now going back to the notes again. What is not? So okay, here. Okay. So variable, I will come little later now, like after maybe 2-3 minutes. So class is kind of your test cases or child folder, right? You will see more about class later. And these are some folder structure. And I said class will be, according to standard, will be always start with uppercase letter. So there are some more okay, naming convention you will see later. Every Java program has at least one user-defined class. Okay, so class means if you have a class, if you go there, right, for example, you see that this line? This is a class name. You have to have one class. Otherwise, how are you going to write, how are you going to say this is a class? If you just delete everything, for example, here I'm just deleting everything. It will not be a class actually. There will be nothing. So I'm deleting everything. So where is the class actually? There is no class. Yeah. So basically you have to declare some class name to write a class. This is a simple thing. Now this is about Java main method. Remember I said this is like starting point to run any Java code. Without Java main method, you cannot run any test cases, or you cannot run any Java code. This is the starting point for JVM, Java Virtual Machine. And at this moment, you have to just memorize for this, but later on, like as class goes on, you will see that why this is public, why this is static, why this is void main, like this. This is some definition also here. So public means any class can run this. This is the reason. And comments in Java, right? Why do we use comments in Java? Help to explain what is the code about, right? Like, as I said, right, you can give some notes. You can just give some one-line note also. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be like multiple line. If you have multiple line, you can just give slash and then star. But if you don't have multiple line, just give one slash. You give one slash and star and one line only also. It doesn't matter how you use it. So you have to use this comment format. That's the important part. You can use either single line comment option, or you can use multi-line comment option. So now we will go back to data types. So data types will be very, very important. So also going back, one of these website, it will be very helpful for reference purpose, W3 School Java. If you go there, right, they will be actually explaining in simple language everything that you need. So if I go to data type here, right, there are so many data type. There are so many names like primitive data type, and under primitive data type, there are a lot of data, and non-primitive data type, there are a lot of data also. So primitive data type and non-primitive data type, you have to just check that how they are actually different and how they are actually working together in Java. and each data type has some kind of memory size, some kind of size that you have to understand. So data type and variable, you have to understand together. Let me go to Note first, then I will actually go to the IntelliJ to show you. So data type, right? So anything you see in your laptop or around you, right? There are some kind of data. Like if you say your name, right? There is a data. If you say your social security, this is a data. If you see ID, right? Your address, your phone number, your height, your color, like if you think about your car, right? Your car has how many wheels, how many doors, right? You see that the color of the car, all of them is like kind of some kind of information, right? Those informations are called data. And every programming languages, these data will be actually written in different variable. Different variable means they have a name of the type of data. So for example, if you think about name, name will be kind of string. If you think about some number, you think like 10, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, this time of will be like int, so integer. So they each type of data has different name. So this is name, they have two different type, the originally. You don't have to memorize all of this actually. Out of these, like 5 or 6 types you have to worry about, and you will be working with those. If you think about data type, this is kind of, if you think about parent level, they have 2 child class, primitive and non-primitive. This naming convention actually is kind of basic from your maybe schools. Now, primitive has all of this. Boolean, so in the middle, right? You don't have to worry about anything. All you have to know that, okay, under the primitive, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These 8 types of data under the primitive. And there are some non-primitive data type like string and array. These two will be non-primitive data type. So all you have to do, you have to just know the name. This name you definitely has to memorize, not today, but next few weeks. Because basically, if you practice Java, you will be actually memorizing those eventually. So all you have to know that what is a Boolean, what is a char or char, what is byte, what is short, what is int, what is long, something like that actually. And each of them accept different values. Like for example, if you go to this table, right? These 8 types, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 types of data. And these 8 types of data is actually part of primitive data type. This can be interview question actually. Can you give some example of primitive data type? You can give some of this name. You can say int, long, float, double, byte, char or char. Different people pronounce this differently. Boolean. So these can be interview questions, basic interview question, but probably you will not actually see this type of interview question, but it can come. So now you have to see what is actually Boolean, what is char or char, what is byte, what is short, what is int, what is long, what is float, what is double. So you see that they have different sizes. So Boolean has only 1 bit size. Char has 2 bytes. You don't have to memorize actually these. Usually nobody asks this during the interview. But this is for informational purpose that, okay, you can see from the size, you can see that okay, so if you select something long or something double, it will actually use more space from your memory, right? You can clearly see that this is 8-byte versus this is 1 byte, right? So this is 8 times more memory they are using than this. This one you can just understand. So you have to understand the concept that, okay, some of the data type will be using more memory space than other data type, right? So if you want to write some number 10, you will be probably using short, right? Or byte. But if you are writing some number like multiple billion, right? You're probably gonna write long. So you have to use type based on your test case, based on your data. So if you use number 1 and using long, right? If your value should be 10, you can easily use this byte, right? That has only 1 byte. And this range is -128 to 127. Any number between 128, -128 to 127, you can use byte. So why you are using float, or why you are using double or long? Why you are using long? Long will be accepting this number plus mostly large numbers, right? So you are kind of wasting your space, right, from the memory. You want to save 5, but you are using data type as long, wasting 8 times more memory for no reason. This type of question can come. Why you will be using byte for 10, not long? Then you can explain, okay, so byte is actually using only 1 byte memory versus long will be using 8 times more than byte, right? So we don't need long for storing some data like 10 or 5 or 20, right? So these are some logical question comes, right? Logical understanding comes. So there are some range also, right? So Boolean is only 1 byte. This is the most important one that you will see in the future for test case execution. This will accept only 2 values. One value is true, one value is false. There is no other value they have. Boolean has only 2, true or false. For example, you will see if you go to a like liquor store, whoever is drinks, right? The store, whoever is in store counter, they're supposed to check their ID in the register screen, right? They have to press some button. Like, is this person who is buying the alcohol, right, is 21 years old or not? This question has only 2 options, right? There is nothing maybe. Is this person 21 or not? Yes or no, that's it. This type of situation, this is the data type, Boolean, true or false. There is no maybe. Maybe he is 20, maybe he's 29. So according to the ID, what is the age? 21. True. If ID says 20, it is false. If ID says 18, it is false. You see that, like, a lot of application features, right, will be depending on this Boolean. A lot of button will be depending on the Boolean. Your test case will be always depending on Boolean. If you go to this test case, or if I go to there, if I say verify, okay, I'm just copying there. If I add one line in my test case, verify sandbox home screen displays company logo. You see that? So when you say verifies home screen, Sandbox home screen displays company logo. That's a yes or no. Is it displaying company logo or not? So now you're saying if logo present, test case passed. Or if logo not present, test case failed. So you see that here you are using Boolean, yes or no. You are using yes or no concept here. So Boolean will be all the time part of your test case, all the time. So car, right? As I said, car or character or char or character, anything, a single character will be part of your car or char. This is 2 bytes long. So anything, like, remember you said, so if I say anything car, right? That will be maybe anything A to Z, right? Any letter A to Z, a single letter, or anything lowercase A to Z, or anything, like you can say this symbol or this symbol or dollar symbol, anything. You see that the single digit, if you think about this is a character, it will be part of your car or char. And the rules is anytime you use character, you have to use a single quotation. You see that? Single quotation. This type of data should go inside the single quotation. Now, if you see that actually, so if I say car, right? C. So you see that C will be kind of reference variable. So this C is representing, for example, dollar symbol. Right now, you see there is an error because I missed single quotation. You see that? Now there is no more error. So this is variable or reference variable, C or C1 or whatever, car1. Anything you give, but you cannot give the same name actually. This is your data type, right? CHR, but you cannot give car. You can give something, test card, car 1, 2, 3, 4, or C1, 2, 3, 4, anything you can give except this. But there are total of like close to 40 words that you cannot use when you name the variable. We will go there later. So you see that this is one character, so you have to give single quotation. So this is the rules. Anytime you use car, single quotation. So byte, the third option is byte. So this is number. They will use number without decimal. Byte, short, int, long. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see that this 4 stuff? They will be using just the number without any decimal. Means in this 4, you cannot give 1.55, not like this. If you use decimal, you have to go these last 2 options, float and double. But I'm coming there. Byte is the smallest number option. And they will be accepting only range between -128 to +127. So if you go back to IntelliJ, now I'm giving byte. My reference variable just B1. For example, B1. And if I give 10, and what is missing here? Can somebody tell me something is missing here? It is showing red.
The semicolon?
Yes. So Java will not understand this line without semicolon. That means Java said something is missing, complete the sentence or complete the code or statement or line. So now B1 is 10. So if I give B1 is negative 129. If I give 120, it is still good. If I give 129, you will be expecting this is some kind of error. You see that? Because it is now outside of the range. What is the range? 128 is the maximum range you can give, right? So this is outside of the range. If you have outside of the range, go to next option. Short. Short will be accepting minus 32,000 or 33,000, something close to, right? Minus 33,000 to plus 33,000. Short. You see that, like, is taking 2 times more space, right? Everybody understood that what is the range here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is very straightforward. This is like simple math type of thing, actually, maybe from your school or college. So as I said, byte, short, int, long. These 4 will be used based on your use case, like what is the number size or what is that you are using, right? And also they will be using full number, no decimal point. If you have decimal, come to these 2 options, float or double. Same thing, if I give 127, it will be no red. If I give 129 or 30, for example, something. So I'm just removing this minus. It still is red because it says byte will be accepting only 127, up to 127 actually. So if I just remove it, give maybe 126, it will be good. You see that it is good. So similar way, so my expectation will be, I will be also sharing my note, whatever I'm just showing you. This note, right? That note I'm just sharing with you, right? I'll be sharing with you all. But also this is a task also, that homework will be that you should start reading stuff from W3 School also. So W3 School, you'll be going to Java Home, for example, right? You see that intro, just read little bit. You see that all of these details, very good for understanding, very good for knowledge. If you don't understand anything, you can always ask some of them, because this reading material is actually targeting not only QA, targeting developers also, right? So this is good for any kind of programming students. So we are targeting QA. So QA doesn't need a lot of details, right? Because they need some kind of basic stuff. But if you want to become a developer, you need a lot of advanced knowledge also. So we'll be covering many of these as part of QA, you need them. But maybe some of the concept you don't need, because as a QA, you don't need all of this advanced concept from Java. Whoever is trying to become a developer, they need a lot of concept. So concept you need, the concept I will be suggesting that you need for the QA programming or QA automation. Anyway, I'm just, okay, going back to there. So short, right, is taking minus 32,768 to plus 32,767. Similar way, int will be one of the very, very common usable variable, because this is like kind of covering a big range of number. Even though this is 4 bytes, this for going to safe side. So for developing purpose, to stay in safe zone, a lot of developers, and you will be using int for your coding, int for your test cases. Maybe you can use short, but you don't know, right? Maybe tomorrow you have some data that will be above this limit, right? So what are you gonna do? You have to change everywhere in the code? No. So that means to be safe side, right? Sometimes you have to use int if you think that, okay, this number may go higher in the future. And long is a very large number, like trillion. Like for example, you are talking about trillion, right? Some budget calculator, like US education budget or US budget or some country's budget. When they think about like some kind of very, very large number, is about long. You don't use long very often, right? Most of your test data will be actually not long, right? Is too big. This number is too big. This number will come maybe if you think that, okay, how many coronavirus affected people in this world? Maybe it will come under the long, maybe, right? So yeah, so this type of data type you'll be using. So now float and double, right? There are two different types that you will be using for your programming, writing, coding. These are for decimal point. So if you go and write, if I give int, right? Integer data type, I1, for example, I'm giving 300, for example. Now, if I give 300.5, it will give me error. You see that? Because int is not taking decimal point. For decimal point, you have to go to these two types. So if I just change it to, instead of int, I change to float, it will be good. F-L-O-A-T, float. So now instead of int, I'm just writing float. So float means F1, just relative. So there is another thing about the float. So float requires a letter F at the end. You see that F? That's why it's giving you error. So if I give a F here, the error will be gone. See? So that's why a lot of developers probably will not use float, because sometimes even though this is taking some extra space, another option, double, is taking some extra space, but they don't want to give this F all the time when they're writing the code. So if I remove F, it will give you error, right? So now if I just write double, no more error. You don't need this writing D. So that's the structure that Java follows. If you use float, you have to give F end of the value, right? And if you use double, you don't have to give D. But double is taking more space than float. So depending on your test cases, if you have 1-2 line, you can use float. If you don't want to use float, just use double. So it's your preference sometimes. Sometimes it will be your company preference also. Sometimes you have to check that, okay, what other tester or other developers or other QA automation engineers use this. They use float or they use double. So you have to just following their standard sometimes. So if you go now, so I think that you have very much good understanding about this data type. And these are primitive data type actually. And there are two other data type here listed, string and array. So you don't have to array about anything for now, but string will be very important. So whenever you think about non-primitive data type, right? So all of these 8 types, this can be interview question. How many primitive data type in Java? You have to say 8. There are 8 primitive data type. This is sometimes interview question, but not all the time you'll see this type of interview question. But if they ask, say that 8 primitive data type. So non-primitive data type, as I said, string is one of the common one. So what is string? So anytime you write non-primitive data type, that will be actually uppercase, like S-T-R-I-N-G. S1 equal to, for example, I can write Alice name. So why this is red and why this is not red even I gave uppercase? All of these primitive data type, you will see lowercase letter. You see that C, B, D, even you see I. Non-primitive data type, that will be lowercase letter, but no, primitive data type will be lowercase, but these are non-primitive data type, string, or you will see later array, A-R-R-Y, that will be A also uppercase. So string is uppercase. This is the naming convention. You have to give string uppercase. If you give this is lowercase, you will see red also. You see that red? String will be always uppercase, S uppercase. And whenever you use string, it will be inside, the value will be inside the double quotation. This is the rules. If you don't give double quotation, you will see error. Your code will not run. If you give single quotation, it will not be working also. String cannot be in single quotation. String will be always in double quotation. And what is S? S means, S1 means some kind of reference variable. So another person may be string S2, maybe Gilma. You see that, like, you are keeping those information, those name, right, in some kind of bucket. You see that, those bucket? So these are called variables. So variables are actually bucket. So if you think about variables, you see that are containers, right, for storing Java values. So if you go to supermarket, for example, now you have a small bottle. What can you buy in this small bottle actually? So if you have a small bottle, you probably buy some liquid stuff, right? Like some maybe oil or some milk. You can carry some of this milk or oil, right? Some kind of like liquid stuff. Can you carry potato, onion?
No,
Anybody?
no, we cannot.
To carry potato or onion, you need some kind of other bags, right? Like it can be paper bag, it can be plastic bag, right? So if you have paper bag, for example, you have paper bag. Can you carry liquid milk inside the paper bag?
No.
So similar
No.
way, actually, those are the container. Each type of container will be carrying specific type of data. String will be carrying string type of data. string will not carry double type of data. So if you give a string and give double like 30.0, it will give you error. It's a mismatch. You are saying your data is string, you are saying data is string, but you are giving the value is actually double. So it's a mismatch. It is not accepting. So now it can accept if you use this 30.0 as a string. Now this is not a number anymore. This is just a value. If you think this is just a value, you have to give double quotation. So if you use a string, you have to give a double quotation, then it will accept anything. Anything can be acceptable if it is inside the double quotation as a string. So this is kind of some variables, as you saw in your school also, right? You gave some reference variable a equal to 2, b equal to 3, right? A minus b equal to, or b, a plus b equal to like 2 plus 5 equal to 2 plus 3 equal to 5, something like that, right? You saw that maybe in your like 5th grade or 6th grade. Similar way, this is working like exactly same way actually, just like different naming convention actually. So you see that store different type of variables, float variables. If you know the data type, you basically know the variable type also, right? If your number is int, your variable will be int. If your number is double, your variable will be double also. Same thing. So there are some naming convention. You see that some naming convention here. Variables, functions, array, like all of these. So functions actually will be, in Java, function will be called method. Other programming language, it will be functions, but in Java, that will be called method. But the naming convention is common. Anytime you use variable, method, function, or array. And what is this actually? For example, if you go there, right? This thing, right? These are variables. I can say string 1. It can be my variable. I can say int number 1, 500. So this number 1, string 1, s2, car2, if I give, this is instead of string, if I give my name, this is a variable. Can be a variable. This is the name of the container. It doesn't matter what you give there actually. If you give your name, it will be, but usually what happens, the idea is you should give this type of information as a related with your project. For example, you can say string user ID equal to Gilma 123. For example, like this. You see that now this is more like style that your project will be following. Password will be like something, right? Password 12345, something like that. You see that? So you should not just randomly give something that if you see that you don't know that what is that. So if you see this is user ID, so you know this is a test data, right? This is the test data that you will be using for your project or your test cases. So there is a naming convention, right? The naming convention is this type of variables, methods, or array, this type of naming convention will be following. They will accept letters A to Z or uppercase A to Z, numbers 0 to 9, underscore, and dollar symbol. Any other symbol will give you error. If you go there, I say underscore, right? So _1, it is good. Or $1, it is good. But if I give hash, it will give you error. You see that? It is not accepting. So you have to follow the naming convention. Any number will be good. Any letter will be good. And only these two symbols. So cannot be used as a keyword. So there is a list of keyword, right? You see that? You have to, this is by sometimes interview questions. Can you use variable name as a keyword? No. So you can see there are a lot of keywords here, right? Car, right? You see that car, int, long, all of them are keyword actually. That will be only reserved for Java. You cannot use those. That will be part of your coding structure. So for example, I'm saying that string, and you are giving string name as int. See that this red? Because this int is reserved for int data type. You cannot use this and naming this. What about you see that this is static, right? Static is a keyword that is part of this line, right? If I give my string name is static, it will give you error. You see that? Because this is totally a reserved word or keyword that is for Java. You can modify it. You can give static 1. It is good. If you just modify it, give some different, and not exactly static, just static 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can use any of this keyword with some modification. Like if I use now int, it will give me error, right? Now, if I say int 1, 2, 3, it is good now. So you can modify it, but you cannot give exactly same keyword. That how many keywords there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 40. And how many is there? 48. So total 48 keywords in Java. And these 48 keywords, you cannot use exactly to name any variables or methods. You will be understanding actually more in the future classes also. So these are reserved. You cannot use those. These are kind of, if you go to parking lot, right, you will see there is some parking space is only for handicapped. Some parking space is only for ambulance, right? There are some reserved parking space. Similar to that, you have billions of words you can use actually, but don't use this 48 when you create any variables or methods or name anything here, right? Don't use those 48. Those 48 is only used by Java compiler, like this, right? Now, what is the next one? Okay. You already understood what is keyword. So this is some specific. Cannot start with number. This is not a good idea to start with number. You can have number in the middle or later, but not start with number. So I'm saying user ID 1, but I cannot say 1 user ID. If you give 1 in the beginning, it will be giving you error. Java will not accept this type of naming convention. A variable or name start with number. Starting with lowercase letter is preferred. Those are like preferences. You can always use uppercase, but the standard is lowercase. Start with uppercase and underscore is not preferred. Means this is not recommended, right? Starting with uppercase. So another thing is just recommendation. This is nothing specific. Your variable should be a little bit shorter. Like you cannot give a variable name like something like 50 character long. Nobody will actually like this. Your code will be messy. You should be something like shorter name that is like, if you give like string, like for example, you can give something like password. This is short, like you can understand this is a password, right? If you see this is something first name, you can give F name, something like that. You see that F is lowercase actually, that is more standard. F name, you see that the shortcut, right? That looks nice, and anybody can read and they understand, okay, this one is first name is, okay, maybe Tom. So first name is Tom, right? So should be short. Even sometimes it is recommended is less than 31 character long, but there is no actually specific rules that, okay, 31 characters, so sometimes is too big. You don't need 31 characters sometimes. If it is possible, just keep it shorter. So this is some kind of just practice. See this and which one is valid, which one is invalid, something like that. So you can see from here that, okay, some variable names are valid, some variables names are invalid. These are valid, you see that, and these are invalid. You see that quotation, right? This is not a valid character. Only valid character, I said, underscore and dollar symbol. Anything other than underscore and dollar score will be invalid. This is not the right character. This is not the right character. So you can clearly see this is also you saw. So far, anybody has any question in Java fundamental day one? Anything you want to repeat or ask me to explain more? So this is just a new language for all of you, and a lot of just rules and regulation about this language, that how you will be using those.
Yeah, I don't have any questions. Seems
Yeah,
straightforward.
I know a lot of reading, just understanding, reading, understanding, reading like this. Okay, so there are some operations will be.
I'm sorry, just you mentioned, I think it's the main method. You say we had to memorize two of them. I just got one, the public static, and the other one, I don't know which one is.
Oh, I said that main method for now, you can memorize this as this will be your starting point to run any Java code. If you don't have this main method, this one, you cannot run any code. You need this main method to run the code.
Okay, but you
And
say
another thing I said that if you want to display anything on the screen, right? This is called console. Like for example, my test cases result, test result, you want to display here, right? Like I see here, right? Then you have to write this. System.out println. So what happen if I don't write ln? It will still work. You see that these lines are nicely separated. This is a one line, this is one line, this is one line. And if I run this now, you will see that all of these 3 lines will be in a same one line, and you cannot separate them. You see that these 3 lines came in one line. So depending on your expectation, right? If you want to see that these lines should be in one line, you don't have to give ln. ln means new line. You see that ln? ln means new line. And if you don't give ln, they will come in a single line. There will be no second line. So same thing here. So now if I give ln again, so it will be again separate line. You see that separate line again. So yeah, so this is another one that system.out.println. You always have to remember this, but there will be a lot of shortcut in the future also. You will see that, okay. For example, if I create one Java class, another Java class. So test case 2. So you can actually declare when you create the sandbox project, right? There was an option that I unchecked, and you can check it also, that you are saying that anytime you create a class, keep this main method by default. You don't have to write it. Like for example, if you go to this is, for example, this is Eclipse, right? So now if I go there and create one class, sample 1, you see that here there is an option. Do you want public static void main with this class? You don't have to write. Eclipse or IntelliJ will automatically write this. Everybody can see that?
Yeah.
So you can select this option and then just write it. You see that now this line is already there. You don't have to write. And also, if you are, there are a lot of shortcuts also you'll see in the future. In the future, you will see some shortcut. For example, if you use if you use Windows, right? If there is a shortcut SYSO, then control space, then your print method should be there. Or if you write another one, for example, if you don't want to keep, what is that? Sample. Okay. If you don't have the main method, right? So now, if you type main and then control space, you see that option is coming. This option actually, control space. There will be Java main option also. But anyway, one second. So there are a lot of shortcut options that I will be giving you a little later, not right now, because let me show you. If you see something like that also. you will see a lot of cheat sheet about IntelliJ. So this is IntelliJ idea, right? So you will have cheat sheet for Java also. So you can just do shortcut to write main method, to write print method, this type of thing. So, but for now, I'm not suggesting this because this is just the beginning. You should not actually use those cheat sheet for now. You should just try to just write manually every time you just use, every time you practice. Okay, any other question from anybody else? Okay, so there are more stuff that you have to. Okay, going back to W3 School. Now I will go to, so far you can see from this topic, right? So you have some kind of basic understanding what is Java. Maybe not a lot of details, but basic understanding. So what is the starting point for Java? This is basically setup thing, right? JDK. So you set up JDK in your system, Java syntax, right? So now you have some kind of idea that what is they're doing, right? This is a class, this is a class name. And as I said, class name usually according to standard start with uppercase. M is uppercase, right? And you know this is Java main method. So this is a Java main method, and this is another method to print. And W3 School is actually another thing you will be liking it because, for example, you don't have IntelliJ in your system, right? You didn't set up your laptop yet. You don't have IntelliJ. You just want, you will be using IntelliJ next week, for example. So now W3 School has a similar like IntelliJ stuff. You see that, try it yourself. If you click there, you see that this is similar to IntelliJ W3 School version. Instead of having this, all of this folder structure, they just have this screen and this screen. So where you're gonna write coding and where you will see the result. You see that? So these two screens already available in W3 School. Here, you see that? So now, if I say, I'm just changing their word. I'm changing. I'm writing something. Same thing. Today is day 1. So you can say day 1, right? And now you see that run. This is same run as this one. Right? This is same run as this one. Run test cases. This run, or you see that there is another run. Run test case. If I run this, same thing. You can run from here, or you can just right click and run here. So this one, right? This run is just one run. So if you run this, you're supposed to see today is day 1. You see that? Exactly same thing you see. So anything you give inside the system.out.println, anything you give, it will be running and it will be displaying here. So this is a good option that for practice point of view. So each point, right? So output, Java output, right? You see that? We already covered this, right? So anything you write inside the system.out.println, it should be displaying as output. So output means this one, this is output. You see the result. Print numbers, right? You already saw this, right? We already discussed this different type of data under different type of data. Some numbers will be int based on range, right? So 3 can be int, 3 can be short, 3 can be byte, right? But 50,000 will be int data type. This cannot be short or byte because this is out of range. So based on your range, you can name them what type of numbers. But when you just simply write this, right, you can write any number. You don't have to give variable stuff. So variable stuff is when you actually declare them here. So variable type. So if you just simply write here anything, you can just simply write here. For number, as I said, anything for number, right? You don't need double quotation. But for anything other than number, you need double quotation. So if you go there, if you, for example, this, right? This is the number displaying. So for any number, so I can copy and paste another line. See if I give something like a big number, 50 billion. If I run this, it will be displaying here. It is displaying here is because, okay, it's saying integer number too large. So now you have to declare as a what type of data you are using. Another thing I can give long. You see that if you see this type of variable that number is too long, right? You can fix this just giving a letter L. If you give the letter L, the system JDK will think that, okay, this is a large number. Treat them as a large long number. Now you cannot give a name. If I give my name here, if I run this, it will give you error because this is actually not a number, right? This is a string. You see that variable, right? This is not the correct one. This is, so if you want to write this name, just give double quotation. If you give inside the double quotation, it will print here. So I would suggest, you see that each left side, right? We are not starting if else today. If else will be next week. So till Boolean, right? You practice yourself. You can practice here like this, or if you already downloaded JDK and IntelliJ, practice in IntelliJ. Because end of the day at your work, right? Real life work, you'll be using something like that, IntelliJ. This is just for practice purpose. This is just for practice purpose that, okay, if somebody does not have IntelliJ, if somebody does not have Eclipse, just for practice purpose so that they can see how it looks like. So yes, so I would suggest that, okay, for this week, go to this website, W3 School, Java, and then practice from these to Boolean. And next week, I will start from if else. So I have covered comments. I have covered variables. I have covered data types. Now I will go to, I also covered string. I will now go to operation and some math. Boolean also actually you saw already. Like for example, I said what is Boolean, right? Let me go to Boolean. Oh, here. This is Boolean. I already told what is Boolean. If it is yes or no question, true and false. So they will only accept true and false. So if I say Boolean B1, for example. So there is another important thing in Java concept. You see that B1 is giving you error. I forgot to mention this actually. This B1, it is saying this is a duplicate. You already used this B1 here. You see that byte B1 equal to 126. So Java says duplicate is not allowed. Change something else. Do it maybe B2. Or maybe change something else like B001. You can modify it, but not the same as this B1. If you have one variable here, you cannot use exactly same variable for another assignment. So you can do like B2 instead of B1. And as I said, Boolean will accept only two values, either true or false. Again, you see that B2 is giving error, means B2 is already there. So you have to pick something else. You cannot have duplicate variables. It can be false. So now, when you write system dot, okay, I'm just giving this. So I am writing so to display any of these, right? You want to just write inside this parenthesis, right? That I said. So if you use variable, right? So that means you don't have to write those information. All you have to write just the variables. So if I want to display double 300.5, all I have to write D1, that's it. You see that D1? D1 basically representing this D1. So if I run this, so all of this code, right? I want to make as a comment. So I have to do just /* and last */ opposite. You see that now this all the codes will not be part of my code. That will be kind of comment. So if I run this code now, only this will run. You see that 300.5. So everybody understand why 300.5 is here? Everybody?
No, I didn't. Can you repeat
Yes.
that again? Yeah.
Okay. So remember I said, if you want to display the result here, you have to write system.out.println. That part you understood?
Yeah.
So now I said anything you want to display here, it has to be go inside this parenthesis. That part you understood?
Yeah.
So I said, if I want to see some name like Tom, it should be go inside the double quotation.
Yeah,
That you understood, right?
yeah, yeah.
So if I run this, I will see Tom here. So far this run you understood, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now if I say, I will not write the Tom. Instead of that, I will write the variable which one is representing Tom. So F name is representing Tom. That you understood?
Yeah,
Just write F name.
okay.
So now I didn't give Tom, but I gave this variable name. That variable name basically representing this Tom, right?
Yeah,
So you bought a soda can. So you can give this soda can to me directly, the soda can, or you can give this soda can inside a packet or bag. Can you give?
right, right.
You are giving me
Yeah.
the bag. You are giving me the soda can also, right?
Yeah,
So I'm giving the bag here.
okay.
You see that I'm giving the bag and the
Mhm.
Tom is there. So basically you got the Tom or you got the soda can inside from the bag actually.
Okay,
Same thing here, like I want to see the Gilma 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or something. So I don't want to write this here. I want to write just the variable
user ID one.
representing. You see that variable?
Yeah, yeah, user ID one, yeah,
So now if I run this, I will see this here.
got it.
Same thing, any variable you give here. So the point was, anytime you use a variable, you don't have to use double quotation. You don't need double quotation for variable. That's the main point.
Okay, got it.
So now going back. So I said Boolean, we didn't give the answer for Boolean, right? So now if I give B2, what I supposed to see? I supposed to see
True, yeah,
same thing. Or I can directly give Boolean like true. So if I give true, I also will see true actually. So Boolean is just two value. There is no other option, either true or false. That's it. If you give false, just false. There will be only yes or no. But one important thing, it cannot be uppercase. If you give F as a uppercase, it will give you error. Only lowercase. You see that? It is giving error. So Boolean will only accept this form, lowercase form, TRUE and FALSE. You can keep it inside the variable. You can give either variable or directly true or false. But you will see the use case, how you can use this later actually, when you use like Selenium, then you'll see that. So now going back. So far we saw data type, operators, string, math and operator. I will do rest of this 20 minutes. That is very straightforward actually. So math, right? This math actually here, right? Okay. Let me check what example they displayed. Actually, don't use the math one for now. Just do the operator because that is actually future class. Operator, yeah, operator will be straightforward actually. So the reading assignment for this week will be till Boolean except math. And typecasting, I will go. Typecasting, I will go later. So if I just create another package where I will be practicing math or operator, Java operators. So Java operators is one of the package, and now I can create a class, operator demo. So this is my class, for example. So you can write everything, but you cannot run. That will be not run. So to run a Java code, what you need here actually? What you need for? So what code you need here to starting point as a starting point? Remember public static void main. You see that this is the starting point you need when you write a code, right? So any code you will write now will be inside that public static void main. So public static void main is inside the main Java class, right? Operator demo, this one. And now, if you say, now you are giving int I1 or number, num1 equal to 21. Int num2 equal to 5. I say okay, so everybody understood what I just write, what I just have here?
Yeah.
I just declared some variables with some different type of data, right?
Yeah.
So now I said, I want to now calculate this. So I want to calculate what is 5 plus 21. What do you have to write? And I want to
Like
display here.
math,
What I have to write? Can somebody tell me?
math.
Those are operator, right? So now, if you go there, so I have number 1 and number 2 equal to 7, right? Here, this is the example. So these are operator actually. Plus, minus, equal to. You see that equal to operator? This is equal sign. So now if I say system dot out dot println. You see that? So if I say I want 21 plus 5, I can write 21 plus 5. I can write this. Or I can write int so which one will work? Which one will work actually? If I run this, which one will work?
I mean, neither of them are giving you an error. Should both work, right?
Both is working actually, that's true. But good practice is probably this one, right?
Yeah, I have a question. Could you, as like int sum for the code, right? When you write the equal sign instead of 21 plus 5, can
Yes.
you also write num1 plus num2?
Yes. This is also good practice actually. Num1 plus num2. You see that when you type just and you IntelliJ already giving you some suggestion that what you have, right? So it's still same, you will get same answer. See, this is a good practice also. So you will be more seeing in the future this type of thing a lot. Means you will be giving some variable and you are using those variables instead of the solid number or solid value all the time. So this is also right, but in work, you're probably not going to use this. Instead of this, you'll be working something like that. So this is one of the example of like this, right? So this plus symbol, equal symbol, those are operator. And these are can be variable, right? And there are so many kinds of operators, right? There are addition, there are subtraction, there are multiplication, there are division and modulus. So division and modulus is little bit different than regular math actually. So now I'm saying int div equal to so if you see this, right, division says you will just divide. So num1 divided by num2. And modulus also kind of division actually. Okay, int. So if you see there, percentage sign is a modulus. So this is division and modulus is percentage sign. So what's going on here actually? So now if you just, so if I just give, okay. So if I give here div, and if I give here mod, so what is the expectation here? Can somebody tell me what is the expectation here?
So for div, you should get roughly like 4 point something. And then for mod, it looks like you should probably get 1 because it's just num2% num2. So that's what I would expect if it's regular division.
Yeah, this is definitely 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
4 times 5. And this is kind of after the proper division, what is the remainder? This is a reminder actually.
Mhm.
Remaining digit, like for example, you are going to 21, right? So 21, how many times 5 goes with 21?
Yeah, it's like 4.1 or something like that. It's like
So
4.
for example, it goes four times.
That-
There is 24.
That should be 20 then, right? 20 divided by 5 is 4.
Yeah, 20 divided by 5 is 4, but you have 24. So what is the
Oh.
remaining number left?
Oh, like 4, yeah.
4 left, right? So it should be coming as a 4. If you have, actually there is one semicolon missing. If there is like 2, right? 22, that
Yeah.
remaining will be 2. So modulus is basically remaining number. After the dividing equally, like 5, right? So it will not give you decimal point.
Oh, I mean, because the only reason I'm following you, but the only question I have in my head is because for the int mod equals, it's num2% num2. Should it be num1?
Oh, this is num2. Okay, is actually num1.
Okay, that's what I was just wondering. Okay, so now,
This is
yeah.
num1
I
actually. I gave maybe wrong. Okay, num1 percentage sign num2. So that will be
Oh,
the
okay.
remaining will be 2,
Yeah, so that should be 2, and then the first one should be 4. Yeah.
and this will be 4. So now the problem is this is 4 and this is 2, but this is actually not 4, right? This is 4.4, I
Something.
think. Should be exactly 4.4, right?
Yeah, 4.4.
Yeah.
But it will be giving 4. Why it will be giving 4?
It rounds down, it's below 0.5, so you never round on the decimal up when it's below 5.
What about if this is 4? That should be 4.8.
Yeah, so then that should come out to 5. It should come out to 5.
It will not actually.
Yeah,
It will come as a 4
still carries down. Huh.
and
The
remaining is 4, right?
Yeah,
Because you see that their division will be giving just the exact number. Because this is int. Int always give the exact number. They don't give any decimal.
so it'll always round down. It'll never round up.
No, there's nothing down or up actually. They will never do any kind of rounding. If this is 4.99, still it will give you 4.
Yeah, so it rounds down then.
So it will like basically always show the number which is before the decimal.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
the round number.
Yeah, the
down.
lower
Yeah.
baseline, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean rounding means I said it will not calculate anything like rounding or anything. It's like whatever the number
Yeah,
solid comes,
like a round number is a whole number. So,
whole number.
Yeah, that's what it's.
Yeah. But if you now give instead of int, now if I give double here, if I run now, it is giving still 4, right?
Yeah.
But it is not giving you an actual number.
Yeah.
So what happened if you give double here? And double here? So if I run this, you see that now it comes 4.8.
Uh-huh.
So it is a type mismatch, right?
Uh-huh.
So basically, if you are giving int, it will be following something whole number.
Yeah, one integer. Yeah.
Yeah, but there is another option that you can actually follow. This is called type casting. that actually? So typecasting is saying that your number will be, what is that? So your bigger bag can carry smaller bag, but not smaller bag can carry bigger bag. So if you have like 24-ounce coffee, and if you have a 8-ounce cup, can all the coffee goes inside the 8-ounce cup?
No,
But it can be done opposite direction, right? You have 8 ounces of coffee and you can move this to 24-ounce coffee cup also,
Yeah.
without any problem. So similar thing actually happens here also. So if you want to keep, what is that actually? So if you want to keep data type, go to data type first. Okay. You see that based on the size, right? So basically, this is double is like 8 bytes. Int is like 4 bytes. So you can keep int inside the double, but you cannot keep double inside the int. So if you go back, now I'm just deleting everything. So if I say double 24.3, double 5.5. So you can say double. I'm just giving one thing, result, one variable result. Num, okay, num1 plus num2. So if I give this system dot out dot println, right? And I can give just result.
it's just a misspelling on the first one over there. You
Yeah,
wrote.
okay.
Yeah.
Reason, oh, this is S actually.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good. So now if I run this, it will be working perfectly. 29.8. So if I just give like this, it will be exactly same. But for typecasting, so int equal to 9, double equal to my int. So you see that here, if you go there, so if you run that, it will be displaying one is 9, one is 9.0. So that means this 9 is originally was saved inside the, for example, this 9 is a coffee. This is 8-ounce cup. And double, now still the same coffee here, but this is like 16-ounce cup now. So you can keep this 8-ounce coffee inside the 16-ounce cup, right? You see that this is 8-ounce coffee and this is 8-ounce cup. And this is coffee, is still 8-ounce coffee, but this cup is 16 ounce now. Can you keep 8-ounce coffee inside the 16-ounce cup? This is some logical question. Hello?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you might be able to keep it.
But you probably cannot do the other direction. Now you're saying, now I'm just commenting here. I'm commenting here also. Actually, I'm just, okay, creating, I'm just moving this to my IntelliJ, actually. So, okay, so this part you understood already. 9 and 9.5. So you can see my screen, right? So I'm just switching other direction now. So now I will declare one double value and then try to put this double inside the int. You got it, right? What I'm trying to do? So I say, my double equal to, we can say just 9. Now, int my int equal to my double. You see that this is giving you error. It is saying this container is, basically this container is too small to carry this large amount. This is part of your typecasting. So that means you always can keep smaller variable inside the large variable container, but cannot be done other direction. Anybody has any like confusion here? I just want to make sure.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is basically the part of this example. The typecasting is basically this, like you can carry big value. Basically, you cannot keep big values inside the small container. This is the only thing actually. Yeah, I think we are done for the day today. So Java tutorial. So task for this week, please download JDK and IntelliJ in your laptop, and I will share this video also with you. And I will also share my note that whatever I was showing. And also from your side, go to W3 School and practice this part. Not math for now. Yeah, not math.
Does that YouTube SDAT page also have like
Yes,
videos related?
Yes. SDAT
Okay.
page also have a lot of stuff actually. SDAT. Let me check. Playlist. Java. He definitely has Java for beginner. Plus we have Udemy course also. Okay. You see that? But I think you should, I'm just thinking you should follow this or you should follow this. Let me check. Because this one is, let me check how many.
I like
Okay, how many is there? Okay, so basically it seems like this course is better actually for you because you will be doing automation, right? So, okay. So I would suggest this one, Java for Selenium.
Okay.
So fine. So let us start today's
You see
class.
that this one actually all the installation to
In the
basic
previous
to everything.
class,
Is
we have
that?
seen basic.
Yeah, this is kind of self-study from your side. But anytime, any question you have, like any confusion you have, you can always ask me. There are definitely you can do first video. Definitely you can do the second video. Let me check what is second video he covering. Let me check one
Fine.
second. Okay, so those operator, right? You will definitely understand. Some logical operator, I'm just giving you some example also before, since you will be covering. Okay, so for this week, just video 1 and 2. This one actually next week. This one, loops and jumping statement, this one. So go to.
So fine. So let us start today's class.
This Java, right? For Selenium, this one. I will also share this actually in the WhatsApp channel. Go to this one and do the first 2 video. This is like your self assignment for practicing. But this self assignment has some other basic concept that probably I just quickly review one time. If you see operators, right? There are different type of operator. Less than or equal to. You see that some of this operator will be, you see that smaller than, greater than, less than or equal to, relational operator. So he has some example about this also, that what happened. Go to the, okay, go to this one again, Java tutorial. If you go to operators, if you read those properly, you will also see that this one, this part. So you see that less than or equal to, all of this equal to, you see that? Like for example, 2 equal will be counting like equal. Explanation equal to not equal means these 2 are opposite. This is, you already know, this is greater than, this is smaller than, this is greater than or equal to, this is smaller than or equal to. So if you go, for example, this type of example, I'm just showing you one quickly. I know this is already 209. Okay. Operator 2. Okay. So here, right? You see that system.print_out. So what does that mean actually? Can somebody tell me what does that mean? Is that true or false? X equal to 5, Y equal to 3. Is that statement is true or false?
That's true.
Yeah, true.
So if you run this, it will come true. You see that? This, any type of logical operator will be following Boolean, yes or no. There is no maybe. Opposite thing. Now this is false, right? X is smaller than Y. If you run this, it will be false. So these actually, all of them, if you just read them and just go and practice here, you will understand all of them actually. So these are called Java logical operator. Means you are comparing two values, you are comparing two different things. And you already saw that this is addition minus this thing. So yeah, so I think this video will really help you actually. Video number 2, tutorial 1 and tutorial 2. So this is almost like 1 hour and 50 minutes.
These videos are very good though.
Yeah,
Not-
this I actually like this guy.
Yeah.
He actually explained everything with so details.
Yeah, it's like very good.
If you just watch him carefully, slowly, you don't need any help actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so I will send you a text in the WhatsApp channel about what is the expectation for this week.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So you can ask anytime, any question if you have. I'll try to answer as quickly as possible. But for now, we are actually done for the day.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.